Hello.
Hi,
Hello.
everybody.
Hello, everybody. Welcome.
Yeah, welcome. And sorry about the delay tonight. We were having some technical issues.
Notice how Dennis is giggling.
Giggling there. Yeah. We couldn't find Dennis for quite a large part of our of the first few minutes. But thank you for those who've joined us again tonight on the couch on this very cold Wednesday evening. I think just an appeal with everything happening in the country right now that just for us to be mindful, be kind and to spread the love. We don't know what other people are going through, so let us just be kind. And so tonight, without further ado, we'd like to introduce you to someone who spreads the love and the kindness lot. He's got lots to give. A very busy man, and we'll introduce you to our guest tonight, Mr. Dennis Stander, all the way from, is it Silvertown or Bridgetown?
Parktown. You got both wrong.
Huh?
You
It's
got both wrong.
Bridgetown.
It's Parktown. I mean Parktown, people. Parktown.
Oh, Park. Okay,
Close
in
to
Park.
Golden Ditch and Golden
Park.
Plate.
Okay, now I think a lot of people know where Golden Dish and Golden Plate is. Welcome, Dennis. Thanks for joining us this evening.
Thank you, Lynn, Lloyd, and the people out there. When this started, I had an Afro mense. I stressed so much, I got the bliss. But
I
we're
thought
here,
we
we're
would
here.
be able to see you tonight.
Yeah, it's actually nice that we could see you actually tonight because that avatar that was showing there just wasn't working out, man. But thanks for your time and taking the time to join us tonight, man.
Yeah.
So by way of introduction, Dennis, I think
Yeah.
a good question to ask is who is Dennis? Introduce yourself. I mean, who is Dennis Stander?
Yo, my intro is long, means. Okay, I'm Dennis Stander, born and raised in Bridgetown. I'm now living in Parktown. A lady from the town, for the town, in the town. Yeah, I grew up in the church, and then I somehow went to go search for my identity because I didn't smart church. And
Oh
in
my
on the
gosh.
journey, and on the journey, I introduced myself. Nobody actually introduced me. I introduced myself to alcohol, cigarettes, and drugs. Um, I was a drug addict for about 13 years of my life. Yeah. Um,
Sure.
but on my journey, I went through ups and downs. Um, Serving the Lord and then not serving Him, and then serving and then not serving, and then searching for an identity in vices and goodness. But I'm here now. I'm alive. I can speak. I'm well. I've got all my limbs in place. I haven't been to prison. The only chappies that I gave myself my own tattoos. Nobody chopped me out or anything. And I speak English, so I'm still quiet. I'm still alright.
You said that so fast, all in one breath. I did drugs, alcohol, and I mean, what was the reason for you going into that sort of, I don't want to say lifestyle because really it's
What the
harm. It's
circumstances?
harm to your body eventually. What was your reasoning for
What
for
the-
doing that?
Yeah. And there was a reason why I said it fast, because now it gives me time to slow down. Um,
Okay.
Okay.
Searching for an identity, I think, my own identity. Growing up in the church, my father was an elder in the church. We all went to church, and it was like church was the only thing you knew up until the age of 13. And then I was introduced to high school, and then I thought, because on Fridays we used to go to youth, and then when I went to school, these owns in had other youth gatherings, and those gatherings happened at places like the Space, the Base, and then I was introduced to clubbing, and then smoking and drinking a bit here and there, not letting my father or mother find out. But they
Sure.
did, and then they laid hands and feet on me. And then I tried my drugs. I smoked my slow boats. I then went on to rocks and white pipes. But for me, the thing was, man, I had a strong mind. I always believed I had a strong mind. So I could control stuff in my life. So the chemicals I could control. I was on rocks and I said I don't want to rock anymore, and I was clear. I did Mandrax and I said I wanted to stop, and I stopped. And in the latter years of my addiction, I was addicted to tick, and that is a other ball game. Um, I said I was going to stop for 3 years, but I went on for 3 years, stopping and then going back and being becoming worse, stopping and going back and becoming worse. And the latter part of my addiction to tuk, I was faced with three options. The first one I wanted to take was to hang myself. So I
Sure.
made a noose for myself, and I thought, whoa, 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 Dennis, that strong mind, bring it back. Why kill yourself? Now I'm a logical thinker, and I thought, Dennis, why kill yourself if you can kill them? Now the them, I don't know who it was at the time, but I was plotting, writing people's names down, knowing where I can get guns to kill them and all those kind of things. And then the third encounter was me looking in the mirror. And when I looked in the mirror and I looked back, all I saw was a skeleton of who Dennis is. I wasn't as round as I am now. I was a skeleton. And in that skeleton, I saw the image sitting at the bottom, crying out and saying, why are you just grabbing onto vices to find me when I'm inside of you, and nothing that you use can find me? You just need to be you. And that's the time when I broke down. I cried. My sister came to see me the Sunday. She cried and she took me away and she helped me. And then two of my friends that were on drugs before, that went to rehab, they walked alongside me and said, Dennis, this is not the lifestyle. And
Sure.
they helped me through my drugs, my addiction. They helped me through my addiction because I'm a person like this, man. I went right now. I went to like this rehab kind of place, and I sat there. And then the social worker came to me and she spoke to me, and I looked at her and I just asked her one question: did you do drugs? And she said no. And I said, so how do you understand? How can you explain to me what I'm going through right now? My emotional highs and lows, because I don't have a middle. How do you have you felt that before? So how can and that was a person I was. I was a very aggressive person when it comes to things like that. I was very challenging. I'm a, yeah. I always
Just
had something to say for everyone.
Yeah, Dennis, I'm going to stop you as you go along because you really just you explaining so much. I just want to go back to the type of drugs that you used. It sounds as if tuk was that the most addictive drug?
Yeah. Yes, that was my tipping point. That threw me a curveball that I can't explain to anyone. Um,
And would that be the most cost effective drug to buy?
yeah, yeah. You know what with me, ne? Um, I had people coming to my aunt. I stayed with my aunt at that time in Athlone. I had people come to my aunt's place dressed in suits and suitcases, and they actually had the drugs in there. My auntie thought we were doing business, but I was testing drugs, the tip that's going out on streets. I used to go to
Sure,
parties
you
with 2 or 3 lollies in. They call it lollies. 3 lollies in my pocket, 2 packets of tuck in my pocket. I'll throw one on the table, and if I see you get greedy, I'll give you a number and you can call and get you more drugs. So I was a menace. If I could be
yeah,
blunt and honest, I was a menace.
and with using that specific drug, you spoke about how you were sort of quite thin because you weren't as chubby. So that was the direct result of
Oh,
taking tip.
Yeah. And also your mind, you are so active, your mind, or you think you're active, your mind is everywhere. I remember that day when my tipping point, we were in Sunflame, eh? Now,
Yeah.
Sunflame is big, man. It was my friend's birthday. We were in Sunflame. It's big. And I heard everyone in Sunflame talk about me. Do you know how overwhelming that is?
mm,
I
yeah.
could see people's mouths move and they're speaking about me, but they call that talking, man. You're seeing stuff, man. Your brain is totally messed up. I walked out of Sunflay. I walked to Musenberg station, and the cops were driving past and they were talking about me because I could see their mouths moving, plotting on me. The people that I walked past were plotting on me. I walked from Musenberg station to Falls Bay station, came back to Musenberg station. They were talking about me. In the train, everybody was talking about me,
Sure.
but that's
Sure.
the noise in my head.
Sure.
Yeah.
And that's
So
what drove me to sit with a noose.
So you know what I'm thinking? So I'm thinking this is the state you were in. You obviously were really thin and you were hallucinating completely, Diamaka. You sound like there was no control in your life. How was your family like that? I mean, how did your family even manage to have you?
Mm.
Because you say your sister came at your tipping point, but I mean, before that, did you not cause quite a bit of ructions within your family? Whether you lived with
Yeah.
them.
Um, I almost stabbed my brother once. Um, because I blamed him for what he's doing to my mom and my dad. But I didn't see myself being the one that was affecting my parents at all. You
Sure.
become so disengaged about who you are because you're the one that's going through stuff. So when they approached me and they spoke about me, then I go into the self pity thing, man.
Mm.
Yeah, everybody just want to say this and that, and then the tears come and all those stuff come. Everybody just wants this and this and that. For me, I didn't actually go into the stealing stuff and those. I always had money
Okay.
somehow to feed this habit. So
Yeah.
I didn't go into wanting to go sit in on a yacht in somebody's yard or anything. No, I did it in a place where I felt I was okay.
Sure.
But I wasn't okay, man. I wasn't okay. The search for an identity is something that still stands out for me, man. Vices that I used to want to
But it's,
find me.
Mm.
but speak to me
And
about.
yeah, that's
Sorry,
that's a
Dennis.
heavy thing to statement that I am making.
Yeah. Speak to me about those feelings that you were
Because
actually
sometimes
feeling.
you don't know who you are. You don't know. You don't
Sure.
know. You look in the mirror, and the mirrors always come alongside me in my journey in life. I love the mirror. I love the stage. I
Mm.
love performing. And when I was on drugs, I hated the mirror and I hated the stage. So it actually took me away from my identity, actually searching for one.
It sounded like you didn't even want to look at yourself or acknowledge anything that was pure in your life.
Nah, if I wasn't high, I wouldn't look in the mirror. But when I'm high, then I'm like, yeah, yeah. But it was a false security that was actually my insecurities.
Yeah.
And how is that picture of you changed now
Yo,
when you look at
this
yourself
picture
in the
of
mirror?
now I am thankful. I am grateful that I'm alive, Lloyd. Then I'm grateful that I'm alive. On this journey, even in the beginning of my journey, I lost two friends of mine. One at the age of about 18, 19, he hung himself. At his funeral, we did drugs and alcohol to salute him. I don't know how that made sense at the time, but it did. Another friend at the age of 24, 25, brain hemorrhage in the arms of another friend of mine.
Sure.
And we saluted him by taking drugs and alcohol. They're not here to tell that story. I'm here. And it's been up and down for me. It's been up and down. Where I'm at right now, it's
Yeah.
only God's grace and mercy, man. And
Mm.
and this tipping point that I'm speaking about now happened recently. Recently, um, can I share it?
Yes, I want you to share it. I was going to ask you
Awesome.
to speak about that tipping point because that's the change in your life.
Yeah. So last year before lockdown,
Yeah.
when they when they closed all the bottle stores, my wife, now we got married also. Me and my wife, we got married in lockdown. We got locked down in lockdown on the 6th of June. On the 6th of June, we got married, the two of us. But before that, when they closed the bottle stores, the two of us and my sister and her husband, we had 20 liters making pineapple beer, apple beer,
Oh my goodness.
potato, we some call it vodka.
So
Man,
you were
my
you were
sister,
the
my
reason I
sister,
couldn't find yeast, Dennis? Were you one of the
eh?
people? Were you one of the reasons I couldn't find yeast for my?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
Yeah. I had all the yeast, I had all the pineapples and the apples, my bro.
Oh my
And
gosh.
but you know what, ne? When they took the restrictions off from the bottle stores, my wife and I we stopped drinking. And it just happened. We just didn't feel like we want to drink, and then God started moving in our lives, and we still smoked cigarettes, and then one day we just looked at each other and we said we don't need to smoke, and we smoked that packet of cigarettes to make it clear, said we don't smoke anymore. But the
Sure.
tipping point came when I was directing a play in Sea Point
Mm-hmm.
for a church, and we came home and not knowing that somebody in the audience was COVID positive. So I'm living with my mom who's 86 years old.
Okay.
And the Tuesday, the 17th of December, my mother gave me my daddy's anointing oil. And I asked her if I can anoint her because now God is speaking in my life,
Mm.
and in my wife's life as well. She just accepted the Lord for the first time in her life. So, God is just doing amazing stuff. And I anoint my mom. And I told them, okay, look, we now came into contact with somebody. And the 19th of December, we were still having quiet time, my wife and I took the anointing oil and I anointed every doorpost in the house. Now, this is a massive lesson that I've learned. In obedience, I did that, right? Anointed every doorpost and said, by your stripes, we are healed. And an hour and a half, 2 hours later, my mom got sick, that I had to take her to the doctor. And the doctor said, your mom is fine. It's just a blood, sats in her blood, oxygen in her blood, and she has to go to Groote because she could be COVID positive at the
Okay.
age of 86. I
Sure.
Sure.
had to take my mom, and I'm probably gonna get emotional again. I had to take my mom to Groote to the emergency, and I had to leave my mom there. But I didn't say goodbye. I didn't say goodbye to my mom. My mom stayed in the hospital from the 19th of December till the 5th of January. My mom
Sure.
wasn't home for Christmas. My mom wasn't home for New Year's. My
That's
mom
hard.
is home now. My mom is home now.
Mm.
5th of
Wow.
December, 5th of January, she came out.
Mm.
And the 7th, she shared with me and she said, Dennis, there was one morning at about 1:30, 2 o'clock. I was on my knees, I was crawling. I saw the doctors walking, the nurses, because she was isolated. She didn't know where she was disillusioned. And all she felt was God's hand on the shoulder saying, be still, I am here.
Mm.
Sure. That's
And that
amazing.
was my mom's tipping point. And somebody next to her passed away, but God turned her around to sleep, not to see it. She
Sure.
saw
Sure.
another lady that was talking to her children, singing, laughing with her children that wasn't there. So this is
Yeah.
how COVID hits you. It hits the mind. The battlefield is most here, man. Just like
Yeah.
mine was with drugs. It's
Yeah.
here. It's in your head.
Yeah.
And
Totally.
this lady, the next minute she was gone, but my mom didn't see her pass away.
Mm.
And then
Sure.
God revealed to me there and then, Dennis, you asked for healing, and this is the healing that I'm giving you.
Oh
You
wow.
look for a physical healing, but I do a holistic healing. I do it spiritually, emotionally, physically, every way I heal. And that is where God has birthed what I'm doing now with Men Stand Tall in our room, in our sanctuary. God is speaking to my wife and I all the time. My wife sê niks geken van die Bybel nie. Ek het haar bang gemaak, Lloyd, Lynn, as ons die Bybel lees, dan sê ek vir haar, now you're going to explain to me what is it about. Dan verdwyn sy.
So it obviously sounds that your faith then carried you through what would seem your darkest time.
Mm.
Yeah, yeah. What I
Because
didn't even understand when I was small, and in that time, so I'll bring it back again to me searching for an identity. What I didn't understand that time being in church, my mom and my dad always praying for me, who take me
yeah,
to a place where I am right now.
yeah. But
We,
but
we, we,
but I was gonna
yeah,
say it's like that, Dennis. I think sometimes when we kids or teenagers, we don't understand why our parents perhaps make us do
Mm.
things or tell us
yeah,
things. But only once we grown, we understand so much better. And I've
Mm.
always wondered, if it won't be easier for parents and for children if the kids could see a bit of a bigger picture. But it's
yeah,
not like that.
Mm.
It's really you speak really fondly of your mother.
yeah.
which is it's beautiful to hear. Can you tell me a bit about your relationship? Was it always like that? I mean, because surely with you being on drugs, there must have been moments that she was really hurt with seeing you deteriorate like that. But she clearly held on to you. Could you just speak to me a bit about that relationship?
Yeah, my mom was always there. My mom, with all the nonsense met die te mekaarheid van Dennis, was my ma nog altyd daar. She was always there saying, I love you, I love you. My father and I, we sat fast. We sat fast. Because my dad was an elder in the church, I thought that is what you decided to be. Don't tell me what I must
Yes,
be. So
yes.
so that conflict with my dad I had till about I was 28 or 30 or so. I had that conflict with my dad, and then I started understanding who my dad was. Um, and so my dad's latter years, my father passed away about 4 years now. Um, but my father and I, we were so tight before he passed away. But my mom, she's always they stalwarts, man. They the Don Juans in our family. My mom, and she has two sisters. Now my mom is 87, my aunt is 92, and the eldest one is 94. They like the Golden Girls. I don't know if you remember the Golden Girls.
Yes, we Blanche.
Yeah, the three of them, right before COVID strike, every Saturday they would meet at each other's place, either here by my mom or by Auntie Bokkie and Auntie Bat. So it's Bokkie Bat for Baba. That's the three names. But the dynamics of the two of them, they cry if they talk on the phone because they don't see each other.
Oh, are you
Sure.
serious, man?
Serious, serious, serious. So the prayer of that's why to me the prayer of the righteous availeth much. My
Yeah.
mom's prayers, my aunt's prayers, because I was the macabre, my aunt also, man. 4 o'clock in dinners in the morning when a DJ and my aunt want to sleep. We DJ
Sure,
4 o'clock in the house. Net
Yeah.
dinners.
sure, Dennis. You sound like you earned the name Dennis the Menace. You sound like you were quite.
Quite a,
I mean,
a handful.
yeah, it sounds like you were
Yeah.
really busy.
Yeah, I couldn't handle myself at times also.
Yeah.
But Dennis, sorry, can I
No,
ask,
okay,
man?
go.
So
Mm,
I think living with someone who's, I mean, I haven't personally with who's got an addiction problem must be quite a thing. I saw a video, an older video that Stan had posted on his timeline, about a boy, was wanting a 10 rand from his mother or his granny,
mm,
you know, and I can just imagine how hard it must have been for your mother to be that supporting voice and not judging you all the time or reminding you
yeah.
of who you're not, but speaking to who you are. And
Mm,
I think from what you're saying, that clearly played a large part in you where you are today.
yeah.
Yeah.
Your Lloyd, you put it nicely, man. Not where I was, but who I really am.
Mm.
Yeah.
That my mom could see. And the
Yeah.
funny thing is, a lot of people could see who I am and not what I was doing.
Doing.
They
Yeah.
saw
Except
what
you.
I didn't see in me, man.
Mm.
Mm.
I
That.
I saw I saw somebody that is standing strong. I am arrogant. Yeah, but that wasn't who I was, man.
Yeah.
Mm.
So all these vices I used, I try to create a Dennis that's not being created, that hasn't been created. Because I believe we all are created in the image and likeness of God, but I didn't want that. I
Yeah.
wanted to almost like make a other Dennis and leave that Dennis one side. But it
Yeah.
was so destructive. And again, I'm just blessed that I'm alive to see this.
Dennis, as I mean, with speaking that now, because part of tonight is exploring this of what is a man, and through
Mm,
all your experiences, what do you think defines who you are
As a man.
as a man? Because this is
yeah,
your community work as well. This is
yeah,
what you do, edify the men.
Mm.
We'll
yeah.
speak a bit later about your initiative, but I mean, what is a man? What is a man to you?
That is what I must work on and still work on all the time.
Yeah.
There's so much unlearnings If that isn't, if that is a word or whatever.
No, that's
Is
totally.
it a word? Okay, there's so much unlearnings that I have to get rid of.
Yeah.
One is big boys or cowboys don't cry.
Yeah.
Touching into emotions that me as a man don't want to touch in because I'm supposed to be macho. My egotistic being that comes out now and then because who shall say for me say those kind of things. Do you know who I am? And then when I look in the mirror, then I can't even answer that question. So God is dealing with those kind of things with me, man. What is love? Right? You can read it in the Bible, man. Love is patient, love is kind. But what is it really? What does it mean to be patient? What does it mean to be kind when things are going horribly wrong in your life? How can you be patient if you are hanging on the last thread of life where you feel you can't go on anymore and you've prayed and you've done all you can to stand, but you can't anymore? What patience are you talking about? I'm at that point in my life as a man when I'm faced with the question of what does a provider look like?
Yeah.
Because they said men are providers. What does that look like? A provider. Dis die man van die huis. Wie dra die broek? Can you hear all these things society has put into our minds?
And you know, it's not it's society, yes, but it's also our family. So we busy learning about family pathologies, generational pathologies, and so forth. And you know, when we speak about it with our kids, a lot of the things that we see within our families is just things that's been carried down from generation to generation. That the man is the breadwinner. That's nonsense to me, but that's this is my personal opinion. And there's so, like you say, there are so many things that we have to unlearn. And I must tell you, when Lloyd and I spoke about having you be our guest tonight, and we spoke about men sharing their truth, there isn't many men that would share the truth at the level that you did tonight, because there's still this facade that men has to be strong and brave all the time. There's no time for vulnerability with men. And I think as a society, we always speak about we failing women, but as a society, in that sense, we fail our men.
Yeah. You see, that is things that have been put onto our shoulders, like you said, from generation to generation to generation. And we can take it through to apartheid also, man. We can take it through to apartheid as well, where we had to stand for something that we believed in. But to be able to stand, you can't be a bangbroek, man.
Yes, totally.
Yeah. So when we look at now where we are, right? Bullying is amplified. Yes, everybody's speaking about bullying, but ask every man when he grew up if he was bullied or not. Yes, he was. I was bullied, man. We were bullied when we were smaller, man. Hey, we went through this thing. Now, if you look at it in our society, in our communities, the one that was bullied became the bully. If you look at the gangster, that now puts a gun in a 9-year-old's hand and tell him, "Gaat skiet en wys deze man." It was because it was done to him, man. He was belittled when he was small. He was bullied, but we didn't call it bullying because then you're not a man, because you must stand for your man.
But we are the generation, especially have acknowledged this, we the generation to cancel that. We have it within ourselves to do that. And I mean, just as an encouragement for whoever's watching tonight, go into your family history, look at the patterns and the traits and why you say things, why you do things, because we need to stop it with ourselves. I don't want my children or my grandchildren to experience what we experienced as children. And because we know better, we change it.
I think that I like what you're saying, Dennis, because oftentimes we think who we are is just who we are. And it's not by accident. I've often heard the sayings, they'll say, die Hendricks is maar net so. Of toegebore and whatever else, and
toegebore en toegelaat staan.
That's it, You know,
Noises.
and it's like, or I've heard a friend already say, you know, in my family, you know, we've all got bad tempers, so we
Yeah.
free up. I mean, that isn't even normal, man. And I don't think
Yeah.
we ever take the time to kind of to understand, you know, some of the history, man. You know,
Mm.
and there's value in having conversations. I look in your case,
Yes.
like having conversations with your mom to find
Yeah.
out what their lives are like. You know, what was your
Mm.
dad like? You know, what were the struggles they've gone through, man.
Mm.
And
Yeah.
soon you start to see these patterns emerge, and it's either patterns of poverty, it can be patterns of anger, of violence, and whatever. And it does give you a lot of insight to who you are, man.
Mm.
You know,
Yeah.
and how those things have flown through, have come down through your family tree
Yeah.
into your life, man.
Yeah. And also, Lloyd, I think as men, we don't open up, man. We don't want to be emotional. I always use this. If you go to a brain, women talk emotional goed, my bro. No, they talk emotional. They will share anything with anyone who's a woman and they talk. We as men, we will talk about cars, music, sport, those things. We don't get into emotional. Are you mad? We don't
Mm.
get into the emotional things.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Now we
everybody.
ride out, another woman will talk, another will talk. You know, we were talking about this and that and that and that. And you guys now is sport and car and clothes. But you
That's
understand what I'm saying? Man?
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
true. Yeah, for men, it takes. I mean, I've got a small group of friends, and we spend quite a lot of time sharing.
Yeah.
But in
Mm.
retrospect, if I look at how long it took that relationship to
Mm.
get there, and
Mm.
then
Yes.
on the flip side of that, with women again, it's really an easy exercise, and they're much more in touch with that side of it. And yet, as men, we long for that conversation. We
Mm.
long to have, you know, other men in our lives that we can share with
Mm.
where we're at, because actually we're all not okay. We all just pretend we're okay.
Yes, yes.
So we all
So
have
if
this
you look at
facade. Yeah.
yeah, if you look at this COVID period that we're in now, right? And we must if we must really go look at the stats concerning suicides and stuff
Yeah.
happening in and the gender-based violence thing, man. And you look at gender-based violence is because men they're not they can't sit in one place. It's almost like we become claustrophobic and we
Mm.
don't know how to deal with these emotions of I don't have a job. I can't go here now. I can't keep myself busy. It's heavy.
I agree with you. They in some of the men that identify like that, but the thing is that a lot of the men, they don't have the tools to deal with the here and the now.
Exactly.
They didn't have role models to say, okay,
Mm.
this is what you do when this happens. Maybe do this, and I think they didn't also have the role models in terms of taking initiative, because
Yeah.
as women, there's a large part of this where you expect the man, when there's an issue, you expect
Yeah.
him to get the solution, take the issue, and that doesn't happen. And I think that's why
Mm.
in so many marriages, the communication is probably the bare minimum, and some
Yeah.
of the marriages don't survive. But imagine we walk into the marriage completely vulnerable, with
Mm.
me seeing who you are as a man,
Yeah.
as what society thinks you are. We've
Mm.
normalized so many things that
Mm,
shouldn't even be
mm.
normal.
Exactly. Yes, we've taken the abnormal and made it normal.
Normal, yeah.
I,
Yeah,
Mm,
yeah,
my challenge now. I always I use this when I speak with men. They call it on the Cape Flats. They soek en vra man. When a gangster come to you and he asks you, "Who shall man ako wees like Jay?" I'll say it in English. How will a person become wise who you are? Then you don't know how to answer that, man. Then you like backstep, no?
yeah, yeah,
But now, really, man, if you look in the mirror, man, if you look in the mirror and you ask yourself, who am I?
mm,
Can
yeah,
you really answer that question?
yeah,
Or are you going to answer to what you think people think you are?
mm,
yeah,
And I tell you the truth, sometimes I can't answer who I am.
yeah.
So now, the change in my life that has taken place says,
Mm,
you don't need to know that
yeah.
question, who am I? What you need to know is whose I am. If I
Okay.
know whose I am, then it doesn't matter who I am. Because now I know I'm a son of God. I stand on Christ the solid rock. He's the one that takes me through everything I go through. So I lean on him for my strength. That's whose I am.
So I just
And
want to
that
stop. I just want to stop you there, Dennis, because you've certainly found your strength within your
Mhm.
relationship with the Lord, and
Yeah.
you found your faith. But not everybody that's watching this
Mm.
understand that, or even know who the Lord is. And without
Yeah.
wanting to be spiritual, what sort
No.
of practical advice would you give men that experience what you are experiencing now? Oh my goodness,
Oh,
where's
I
Dennis?
think we've lost Dennis there.
I think we have lost Dennis. Next
Okay.
time you guys
No,
wanted to play
Just
the
for
song for you so long while we wait
you
for no? Okay.
so I just wanted to finish that. Dennis isn't here to answer because not everybody that's watching the show know who the Lord is. Perhaps you're not a Christian, perhaps you're Muslim or Indian or Rastafarian. And I believe that within all our circles, within ourselves, our
that's
families, our work, there is something that inspires
inspires us.
us. With Dennis, it is his relationship with the
It's his
Lord.
faith, yeah.
It's his faith, and he's able to recognize that strength within himself. And I think with all of us, we need to find within ourselves what is it that will encourage us, what is it that will motivate us.
Sometimes it's, so I think sometimes it's like finding your place of peace almost,
Yes, it's finding your place.
or finding that thing that brings you back to your center
Yeah.
when everything else is spinning.
And I think it's almost a holding space within yourself.
Yeah.
And I mean, with us speaking about how society has just normalized, so many habits that shouldn't even be. I mean, men don't cry, men don't hurt, men must be strong all the time, men don't show emotion. It's what if we don't stop it, if we don't find safe spaces, if men don't find safe spaces where they can speak about these things, this is what you're going to carry to your children. This is what, if you have a daughter, she's going to expect her boyfriend and her husband to be, and we don't want that. We want men that's able to be vulnerable, and we want men that's able to say, I'm actually having a bad day.
But I think there's also that misconception around what vulnerability looks like.
Yeah.
And the fact that we always, sometimes we view vulnerability as being a weakness. But there's enormous strength in being vulnerable. There's
I'm going
enormous
to shout that
strength
out.
in showing that side of yourself. Showing. I remember at your book launch, somebody mentioned that where talking about he's for the first time he's witnessed the strength of being of vulnerability.
Yes. Yeah.
And I think oftentimes we think that that's the side that is going to push away the woman or the people in our lives, because we always have to be strong. And oftentimes it shows our more humane side. It's like the times when we say we don't have the answers, or we don't have a solution, but we're going to be in this situation with the person that we're with.
And I mean, I just, as a wife, as your wife, I want Lloyd to be able to say he's actually not having a good day, or he doesn't have a solution. I'd rather want that authentic husband, authentic friend. I mean, so tonight is called On the Couch, and within my shack we have couch sessions that we used to have every week. And we have this because our Lloyd spoke earlier about our friendship circle. Very few people that come, and we sit on a couch and we discuss and we speak about our life and we edify. And it's been such an amazing platform for me to see how Lloyd started feeling he was vulnerable, but he started feeling really held within the group, really held to be able to say that this is his truth. And so we also we spoke about it last week and the week before. Who's in your circle? Who's in your friendship circle? Men, who's in your circle to be able to help you on this journey? Because we don't have to do it alone. Hey, we don't have to.
And there Dennis is back.
Hello, Dennis.
I'm sorry, man.
Did you run out of
Yes.
airtime? Is it airtime?
Is Dennis there?
I think Dennis is frozen
Oh,
again.
shame. Hello?
Hello,
Are you there?
I'm here.
Okay. Next time buy 29 rand, not 15 rand airtime, eh?
Mustn't buy on the bookie, they say.
Yeah. So we were just speaking about practical ways in how you could encourage men tonight, because you found your strength within your relationship with the Lord and your faith. And I was saying that not everybody that's watching tonight um,
Mm.
is a Christian. And so what sort of advice would you give men like that perhaps don't know where to go to from here, from this conversation?
Okay. Can I give you an example? Quick. Let's
Okay.
take it now. Self motivation, right?
Okay.
You go to a conference for self motivation. No? It runs for about 4 days. Okay. You pay 3,000 rand to find out what is self motivation. Okay. You have a speaker like me that's vibrant. Ha ha ha. That comes out, right? And they're like, hey, yeah, how you doing? Ha ha. And you sitting there like, oh, you have to look at this man's aura. Hey, he's self-motivated. I'm not self-motivated, people. Because if I look at 3,000 rand times 40 people, that's a lot of money, isn't it?
That's a lot of motivation.
Exactly. So who's not going to come out like this? Hey, ha, 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 huh? And then you ask you a mind-blowing question. What is self-motivation? And you look down because you think, please don't look at me and ask me this question because I don't know.
Mm.
And at the end of 4 days, he tells you self-motivation lies within self.
Mm.
What a revelation for 3,000 rand.
It's a bargain.
The bargain, eh? Yes. Now wait. Now he still uses a catch thing like this. He says, you know what I do every morning when I wake up? So I'm someone going to give it here in the camera. When I wake up, I look in the mirror and I say to myself, if you look good, you feel good. If you feel good, you do good. Yeah. And you like, yo. You like, yo. And now you do it at home. The first day, you come in front of the mirror, if you look good, you feel good, you feel good, you do good, yeah. And you feel it. By the end of that week, you're like, you look good, you feel good, you do good, yeah. Then it's down, it's not there anymore. By the second week, you walk past that mirror because you don't want to look there anymore.
Mm.
Because we're always looking for somebody to take us somewhere.
Yeah.
Where the somebody is in your body.
Yeah.
So tap
Yeah.
into you, your energies that you have inside, man. Nobody can lift you up if you don't lift yourself up. It's like a drug addict. Nobody can take a drug addict to a rehab to get him rehabilitated if he doesn't want to go.
Yeah. And that I think that's really important. I know with my story and my past, I you want to get healed and you want to feel okay, and so you step out a bit, but you pull back all the time, and then you start playing games, and then you feel sorry for yourself. And I think you do get to a stage, and we'd hope that everybody that's as hurt as what we were get to a stage that you say, okay, but you want better.
Tired of actually.
You tired and
Tired
you
of where you
want
are.
more. But
Yeah.
I do remember though, quite honestly, Dennis, a stage in my life that I too thought that just to heck with it all. I don't want anything else. And sometimes it's really, I've heard the phrase so often, you have to dig really deep, but you really have to actually find it within yourself to want to change.
Yes.
And Dennis, can I ask you? Did you find that you're changing your circles had a big impact on that as well? Who you associate, who's in your boat, who's in your circle, who you hang out with.
Yeah.
You need to break away. You need to break away. Not break ties, but break away. You need to find you on your own, man. You see, when you're in a crowd, you you create this man, I'm this and that and that. But when you're alone, that's if you can't spend time with yourself, then it's a challenge in life. Because at the end of the day, you only have yourself at the end of the day.
No,
and if you can't spend time with yourself, how can you then spend time with somebody else?
Yeah, yeah. Now I get you. So with all of what you said tonight, with who you are, you've started the initiative of Men Stand Tall,
Yeah,
specifically in
Your
Parktown,
community.
in your community. Can you
yeah.
speak to me about that? What is that all about?
Okay, so I'm gonna go back to my mom's, right? My mom, when she came home, she spoke about these things and just the revelation of what healing is, physically, emotionally, spiritually, all that. And then a song was birthed. And things started coming to me about men. Where are we seeing ourselves in this pandemic? Are we men in our homes? Are we really men in our homes? And what does that look like? I'm always about what does it look like, man, to be a man in a home where you don't have control over life, because we feel we protect everything, but we can't protect with this pandemic, man, because it hit so close at home. My mom got sick. She came out of hospital, and then a few months after, my uncle got sick and he passed away. How do we control this? So we've lost that control kind of thing. And then I was looking at the church, for example, man. The four walls, we can't gather, we can't do this. But then it was shown to me, but here's I've given you the sky is the limit, man. That's what we say. The sky is the limit, and it's
Mm,
limitations that we speak. That it's only in a certain space that you can experience certain things. That's limitations.
yeah,
We
yeah,
speak sky is the limit, but there's a universe. We,
yeah.
we, we use things like think outside the box because we like to keep people trapped in their thoughts. So if I
Mm,
say think outside the box, when are you really thinking outside the box? You
mm.
don't know. You don't even know
Yeah,
if it's a square, a rectangle, or a triangle. You don't know what it is, but now I'm telling you, so I put limitations on you, so you take it in. And that's the thing where we are. We take things in so easily,
yeah,
and then it's
totally.
so hard to get rid of. So
Yeah.
Men's Temple was birthed with going here to the Nantes when the restriction was lifted, getting men together, and we say thank you that we're alive. We know we've lost a lot of things. We've lost our jobs, we lost loved ones, but here we are as men, we here.
Yeah.
And then the second part was to fall to our knees and confess that we as men, we haven't taken our rightful place.
Mm.
Because if we had to take our rightful place, there wouldn't have been organizations standing up against gender-based violence. Because
Yeah.
that is how men is portrayed. That's how we as men we portrayed as gender-based violence. We are portrayed as the gangster, the drug dealer, the this, the that, the that. But that's not who we are. So we that know who we are and whose we are, fall to our knees and we confess and say, sorry, man, that we're not taking our rightful place. And so it happened every second Tuesday. And then the vision just grew more of how do we empower men in our communities? And then it took me back to when I was at school, when I was in primary school. You know those people that didn't fit into the school curriculum, and we sent them to adaptation class, aanpassingsklass,
Oh, yes,
right?
totally.
Remember,
Yeah,
yeah.
you remember that.
Yeah.
But those people, so can you see how we already ostracized people?
Mm.
Because those people have been our mechanics, our tilers, our builders, those that weren't wired for book knowledge,
Yes,
but
right.
had business.
They just didn't fit into a mold, yeah.
And yet
There you go.
society needs them.
Exactly. So we ostracize them, and now we already put a thing on them where we press them down. Now, these
Mm.
are men in our communities. That is our tilers, that is our builders, our boiler makers, all these Owens. But now we can just call on them for 50 Rand job, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
So,
totally.
so,
Yeah.
so, so even that abuse continues in our community with those people. But why not get them accredited, man? And I'm looking for businesses or whoever to come alongside and say, let's get these men with these skills that's been doing it for 20, 30 years, get them accredited, man. So when tenders come out, our people from our community, they
Wow.
can go there for those tenders. Even more, man. There's young people in the community that is wired just like them that doesn't fit into a school system.
Yeah.
We've now got technical schools that you can go to, yes, but they don't fit into the structure of school. Take
Yeah.
these men that has now been accredited and make them mentors. We can't make them father figures because there's a whole lot of fatherless children. So
Yeah.
mentors can work. So
Yeah.
now
No.
what you do, you give that man his strength back because he said, I can now tender for government, but now I can also take a lighty with me and I can mold him.
Sure.
So now
That's
you can
such. Sorry,
things that
Dennis.
I have learned.
Yeah, I was going to say that's such a great philosophy that you have. That to just, I mean, I just, what even just stands out is that you've taken the initiative to meet as a group. And someone, Ingrid Thorne, in our chat actually said maybe we need to do home church again or prayer meetings. And effectively, it sounds that you've started this little home group, and it's going to grow with the intention that you have. And we've been in church all our life, but if we must be honest, we loved the home groups. We loved the smaller intimate groups where you can actually do this.
Yeah.
No? So thank you very much for creating the platform for men to have a space to go to. We're going to put your details I've asked Stanley to put it in the comments, but we put it afterwards as well, because I think, imagine you have companies that come alongside you and say, okay, we're an electrical company, let's get the people that's into electrical work, let's do on the job training, let's mentor. I think you've got a brilliant initiative, and it can work. It can
Yeah.
work.
Can work, yeah. Can work.
We've taken now, hopefully the COVID is going to be clear. But what we've done also is there's 12 boys here from Anthony Road in Silvertown
Yes.
that we're going to be taking them on a camp to Carnarvon. And the
Oh, wow.
camp is called Men Stand Tall, Respect in Every Aspect.
Sure.
So
Good.
what we want to do with these 12 boys is hone in on what respect looks like. And where respect starts. If you can't respect yourself, then what can you respect, or who can you respect? So it's really getting to grassroots with the young people, but with men, it's getting to the deeper roots, man. It's creating platforms like you and Lloydd have created, Lynn, where men can actually, we can speak and we can cry, man, and it's all right. Because when you cry, you're actually strong, man.
And such a lekker feeling after you cry, Dennis.
Yo, bruh. I just want to cry again just because of crying.
Yeah, but Dennis, we fast run out of time. I think it's we can. There's such a lot we can still talk about. And so as Lynn mentioned, Stan will share your details. So people can get in touch with you.
Yeah.
Do you have a Facebook page or an email address we can share perhaps as well?
Yes, you can go on to Dennis Stander's Facebook page. I also have a Soul Coast Diary page on Facebook.
Okay.
I don't know what is happening there. There's other Owens that stick a day with hair that I don't have, and it's welcome. They're there. And my email address is on the ad that I sent you as well.
Okay.
So, for people that don't know, we should say that Dennis is an actor, he's a poet, he's, what do you all, Dennis?
I think you were in, what's the
South African story? Arensvallei, weren't you in that?
I was in Orange Flare, I was in Decentrum. I'm a script writer, I'm a songwriter, I'm a poet, I'm an actor, I'm a comedian, and I'm an inspirational speaker.
Yes,
all the way from Cape Flats.
And I'm Dennis Stander.
From Cape Flats with love, yeah. And I'm Dennis Stander, and I've got other personalities that you'll meet sometime in your life.
Dennis, as a closing, do you have any last words to all the men that's listening?
Yeah, I think this is very important. This is very important, man. When you fall, get up. It's okay if you fall, but get up. Don't make your mole heaps your mountaintops. Because if you can get over it, that's growth, but that's history. And that history then gives you character, which is an image that you walk in. And don't be afraid to share your failures, because when you do that, you succeed.
Oh, wonderful. Wow. Dennis, if I could ask you just to type that into the comments, because that's something I think a lot of us need to read and actually
Ponder
absorb
upon,
into
Yeah.
into our being. Thank you so much for tonight, Dennis. I'm sure this won't be our last conversation.
We look
No.
forward to having you back again. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you very much for the opportunity, and thank you for just embracing what I just shared now as well. It means a lot, and for me, this is healing, man. People, they say sharing is caring, no, but sharing is healing.
Absolutely, yes.
So thank you for the healing session for me.
No,
Thank
thanks,
you,
Dennis. We look
Dennis.
forward to seeing you again, man.
Soon.
Thank you. Sweet.
Thank you, Stanley.
Thanks, Stanley. And before we go tonight, we just want to play out with a little, what shall we call
Yeah,
it?
Hannah and Noah, we asked them to sing one of their favorite songs. And so Noah's playing guitar, eh? Noah's
Yeah.
playing guitar
Playing
and
guitar.
Hannah's singing.
Well, no, we just learned to play guitar
Oh,
actually
apparently
recently.
he's standing behind the camera. I wish he can just put his head here, but he doesn't.
Hey, guys.
Oh, they couldn't see you. So, yeah, Stanley, thank you so much again
so
for
much.
tonight, and enjoy Hannah and Noah's song.
Cheers, guys.
Cheers.
Stanley.
I just wanna see